Yeah, not quite anywhere near our best as a team, unfortunately. I think in all sort of facets of the game, we struggle to gain any momentum. Um, we all know how this format works, and if you have momentum on your side, generally becomes a bit of an easier game. So they started well, and pretty much from there, just struggled to find our way in the game. But there were some good signs for us as a team, some good innings, some good bowling spells that we can take forward, and obviously quite a few lessons that we'll need to learn from as well. Yeah, it's always a tough one. I suppose in any league around the world, your first game or two is always new faces, new personnel, and just needs sometimes that bit of time to connect with each other on the field from a cricket point of view. So I thought the communication on the field from all the players was really good, and the messaging was quite good. But yeah, they were much better than us tonight from an execution point of view, and hence them getting the victory. Yeah, definitely too many. Still thought it was a good wicket though, but certain phases in the game we weren't able to strike. Probably most innings, to be fair, and when you're not striking, it's quite easy for the batters out there. So we need to find a way to keep striking regularly. Obviously, that helps the runs, and the best way to stop the runs, and then towards the back end and that death phase of the innings, to have those plans and then slowly lock into execution from there. Yeah, for sure. I think batting and bowling, we weren't at our best in the power play, so we'll take some lessons from that. They put us under pressure, they put our bad balls away, and it's quite hard to claw your way back from there when they get a partnership going. So they've got a star-studded batting lineup, and when you're off to that sort of that type of quality, they're going to make you pay, and that's what happened tonight. Firstly, in the field, I thought we were good, energetic, quite neat. That's always a plus. It shows that guys are connected. It shows that guys want to be out there on the park and playing for the team. Liam Dawson was fantastic for us. Dan Worrell was also really good. And then with the bat, Tommy Abel and Stubber, it's great for guys to get form early in a competition like this, because then you can run with that. So I would say those guys really put their hands up tonight, executed more often than not, and unfortunately the rest of us let ourselves down there.
And my second one has to do with the collision between Tristan and East Tottenham, which undoubtedly is what led to the run-up of Bears Somerville. If you can just speak on that, because maybe someone felt that, seeing that, maybe you don't go for the run-out, but yes, it is a competitive game, so from your side as the one on the field, just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it happens quite quickly, so normally only once you get to see the replay can you sort of get an idea of what happened. Toppers will say he's running back to the stumps, and fair play he was, but the timing didn't look great. When Stubbsy turned, he happened to be in the way, and hence the collision. So it's one of those things that can quite easily happen, and more importantly for us, we just hope Stubber has not got any sort of long-term sort of effect from that collision, but chatted to him now, it seemed like he was alright and should be good for the next game, hopefully. Yeah, we've got a fantastic sort of group of guys, fantastic management, and they'll keep the guys upbeat. And then, yeah, from a preparation point of view, you look at execution the whole time, right? So, firstly, were the plans okay, and then from the plans you judge execution. So we'll do some reflection on that. If we thought the plan was okay, then we just brush up on execution. And look, games are pretty quick behind each other, yeah. So we don't get many days to train, but we'll put a bit of effort in once we get to Cape Town and see if that can make a difference. It's always a tricky one, because if guys are striking it well and you just miss, it tends to go. There's times where you sit there and you hope he doesn't really connect one and you can catch him, and that's the end of that. But I suppose if you're getting execution right slightly more often than not, then you're giving yourself a better chance to maybe for them to miss Q1 and then get the wicket. So I think when you miss by quite a margin, then you're asking for a lot. So to stop it, obviously, yes, it is to take wickets, but the how becomes quite important. So we'll look at that, we'll see. Maybe the plan was wrong, or maybe it was just execution, but we'll have that reflection now and take that forward.
Yeah, look, to be fair, we kind of actually thought the wicket wouldn't be that good. We probably thought around 170, 180. And then, as luck would have it, we kind of really got 225. And at one stage, they were looked on course to chase it because we kind of know under lights here the wicket can really skid on, which it did do. I just think, obviously the pressure and the way we started with the ball was really awesome. And I think that kind of put a lot of pressure on them. And then again, we closed the game out perfectly at the end there with Reece Topley, Richard Gleeson and Dwayne Pretorius, to bowl those last 4 overs for very few in the context of the game was awesome as well. Look, I think it depends how far back we go, I suppose. When I started playing here, obviously it was a lot lower and slower wicket. I don't think you probably got 225 in a 50 over game, if we're really honest. But I think in the last 6-7 years, since those new lights have been put in, I feel like the wicket really has changed up a lot. It's become a bit of a batting paradise, if we're really honest. If you look at last year's SA20, if you look at some of the big scores that are put up here as well, I think if you remember last year, the Sunrisers got over 200 against DSG as well here. So the wicket has become a tough wicket now for bowlers. And I think, obviously local knowledge with me helped today, knowing to use the wind a little bit better and all that, because I think, a lot of the sixes actually went to the biggest side of the boundary, but for me it was kind of with the wind, which I used today. Yeah, look, I think I'm quite fortunate. I've got Nicholas Pooran and Heinrich Klaassen below me, so for me it's quite easy. I've just got to look to play, try and get a partnership going and make sure that I'm keeping the run rate going, because obviously I've got 2 absolute superstars behind me. So I think, and also today I think we had Kemo Paul at Dwayne Pretorius batting at 8. So we had a long batting order today, which obviously helped. And then, just I've got to keep playing. I think that's the big thing where T20 cricket's changed over the last 4 or 5 years, is that, even when you lose a wicket, you just got to keep going. Yeah, look, I think if you ask him to run the 100 metres, he'll beat everyone in this competition. He's absolutely lightning. But again, I think just today in general, the fielding was outstanding. The amount of, I know some of them still were signalled for 6, but the number of sixes that were close to not going for 6s, I think I had one, Tom Abel kind of saved that was so close. Vian Mulder had one as well that he managed to save. So the fielding today I thought was world class, and I think if that's the benchmark for the tournament, I think we've got some very exciting tournament coming up. Yeah, look, that's quite hard to do on the spot, but I suppose, in games like these, you'll always say you can get another 10 runs, and I suppose the ball, you always say maybe you conceded 1 or 2 boundaries that were maybe soft. But I think, as I said earlier, if you look at the nature of the wicket now, the size of the field, it's quite difficult as a bowler. You don't have much room for error. I think, and again, there were a lot of 6s today that were hit, that were actually mishit as well. I had a few, I think Nicholas Pooran had a few, so I think that just shows how good the wicket is at the moment. Look, he plays a lot of freedom, but actually he kept me calm in the middle. He speaks a lot about matchups. To give you some insight, when Liam Dawson bowled his last over, his first words to me were, "Get me on strike and then I'll face the rest of the over," which he kind of did and hit a few 6s in that over. So I think he's very clear in his game plan, but he also helps you out with your game plan. And again, it's kind of typical West Indian Caribbean vibe. It's about very much expressing yourself, but having a lot of fun as well at the same time. Yeah, look, I think St George is very unique. The crowd kind of sits right on top of you in the field. When things aren't going your way as an opposing team, every misfield feels like you've done something completely wrong. They kind of really get behind their home team. But then I also say they're very good cricket fans too. They really do appreciate good cricket, and I think today they were exceptional as well.